Hey, what's up everybody? This is Brian Gandy with Sustainable Terrains again, and I want to introduce a new fixture on the market from a company called Valoya. They're out of Finland, and they've been around since 2009, focused particularly on crop science. This company's been used by the world leaders in crop science and research, and now they're branching out into the commercial horticulture, cannabis, and crop production. And this is the first fixture. It's called an RX600, and this has a spectrum that's called the Solray385, and the 385 is for 385 nanometer, which means UV. So this is the first fixture out that is confidently putting in UVA into their fixture. And we'll do a quick rundown, but this, the main part is this is glass. It's extremely well laid out and very simple in design. It's high voltage only, so 200 to 480. So I've got a power inverter here so we can fire it up. So yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so real quick, just looking at the PCBs, the printed circuit boards. These are the Samsung port, the LM301Hs, and then Osram 660 nanometer reds. I'm not sure exactly who the company is for the far reds, and then there's also the UV, the 385s that are embedded right here. Like I said, just super simple in design, nothing but PCB and heatsink. So high quality components, a lot of them, and just two of these individual panels. We'll flip it over and take a look at the power supply. Alright, so the power supply for this thing is Meanwell, and it's a HVG, which means it's a high voltage unit. So the input, obviously high voltage only, but the output is over 160 volts, where most class 2 fixtures are at 48 to 50 volts. And what that means is you just get a little more efficiency. And it's just more of an industrial specification. The Gavita 1700E also runs a high voltage power supply. So this is one of the few companies that is still actually using Meanwell power supplies. So it's just a tank rated at 650 watt. So going back to the build quality, I'll roll the overdub that I always do with conformal coating. It's a sticky coating that people put over chips to value engineer a product. This, because of the UV and just because of the build and the intended usage, this is tempered glass, so it's got really high transmittance, and it also won't interfere with the UV. Just a really nice design on the chip protection, which is something I'm all about. Alright, I always recommend personal protective equipment. Sunglasses when you're working with LEDs or any grow lighting, for that matter. So this thing is super bright. You can see right here, I have to stand to the side. These are the 660 nanometers, the reds. These ones that are red and not as bright are far red, those are 730 nanometer. And then these that are hardly visible are just outside of the visible range at the UV at 385 nanometers. So it's a really well laid out PCB and incorporating the UVA. Taking a look at the top of the fixture here, we can see that all this thing is a heatsink, a power supply, and the PCB. I mean, it's elegant in its simplicity. Lots of thermal mass. The whole thing weighs about 26 pounds actually, all told. So one person can hang it. Do this real quick. So this is just a U-channel mounting bracket. So mounts onto U-channels in a greenhouse or warehouse. Again, super simple. Not a lot of frills, but strong function and beastie power supply. It's also got these Wyland high voltage connectors. Once this thing goes together, you gotta have a special tool to pull it apart, but it's got the power tail, and again, it's only high voltage, so you can't run these in a 120 volt. It's 200 and up. So this fixture comes with just 0 to 10 volt dimming leads, not the RJ style phone connectors that a lot of fixtures are using. This is more of an industrial kind of thing, but just to explain, 0 to 10 volt, you can see it actually turns off. So this does dim to off. So it's off, and just a quarter volt there. We go to 1 volt, and it jumps it up to about 70 watts, so 10%. And then I'm watching the power meter over to the right. But as we turn it up, we go all the way to 10 volts, and it's pulling about 660 watts. So if we go down to 5 volts, should be about half of that. Yeah, 330. And then again, dim to off, which is something that a lot of growers are eager for. Can cut down a lot on wiring in your new setup or retrofit. Alright, so that's the RX600 from Valoya with the 385 Spectrum. The reason I really like this thing is just a tank. There's a lot of people doing bar fixtures. This thing is made for greenhouses and warehouses. It's just a workhorse, puts out a lot of light. It's got good component protection, a unique spectral offering that has been refined through research and development over 6 years from these guys. And yeah, if you're interested in doing UVA or just need like a really strong greenhouse or warehouse fixture, definitely give this thing a look. It's just a really good unit from a company that's got a long history in crop science. So they've done the research to justify this spectrum. It's a really cool fixture with a unique spectrum. It's not a knockoff of Fluence. In fact, these guys actually had a full spectrum offering back in 2013 and 2014 that predates the Fluence white spectrum. It's also DLC port rated, so for rebates and power efficiency incentives, this thing's a walk on. It's easy to get through being on that list. And yeah, that's it. Really nice fixture, really good build quality, really simple, good price point, and that's the RX600. And if you haven't yet, check out my buddy Sloper's LED Grow Book. A lot of good information in here. I helped him revise this. So pick one up, you'll find a link, you can find it on Amazon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hit me up if you have any questions.